In today's video, we're going to talk about DC Studios, and there seems to be major drama going on behind the scenes. And I've heard about this backup plan that David Zaslav has just in case James Gunn's DCEU fails and doesn't make money. Very interesting what came out today, because I've heard about this for the longest time possible, but for one of the trusted, more reliable scoopers to come out and say this, and I know when I say who said it, you're going to question this person, but they have more credibility than most of the other so-called scoopers. So yo, what is freaking good YouTube? Watched you here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Kaiju, Marvel, pop culture, Monsterverse based DC content that I try to do on a daily basis. If you could, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, let me know what do you think about the subject of the title video. Obviously I haven't gone into details yet. Also, check us out on Instagram at Watched You to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, Watched You G, and also check us out on Instagram Threads. It's a new app that's just come out, and your boy has some kind of mediocre presence everywhere, I guess. Yeah, Watched You on Threads. So let's get into today's video. So it's coming courtesy of Grace Randolph. Now, before people say Grace Randolph has no validity, no credibility, let's wind back a little bit. Grace Randolph was the only industry insider who said Henry Cavill was done and dusted, and he was only coming back for a cameo in Black Adam and in The Flash. Every other scooper tried their hardest to discredit her, but she was 100% on the money. Sure, every insider gets information wrong, but realistically, Grace has a better track record than most of them. So if Grace has heard this, I believe her, because I've heard that they have a backup plan just in case James Gunn's DCU doesn't work. Because let's be honest, the way he's talking about it, the way he's marketing it at the moment, sure, I know they've just cast the new Clark Kent, the new Superman, and the new Lois Lane, sure, but to me, this does not seem like a cinematic universe. It seems like, let's make a standalone Superman movie. We're already going to have a bunch of superheroes that are established inside this one movie. Then we'll move on to the next movie, Batman Brave and Bold. To me, it seems like a standalone universe, and as long as it does well, we can keep doing it. So it's very interesting, and I'm expecting the 3 comments I get down below to be very controversial. Also, you have to factor in this. There has been rumors for the longest time ever that Warner Bros. Discovery was... Okay, let's backtrack a bit. Discovery merged with Warner Bros. To make Warner Bros. Discovery in order for the merger to be allowed via the FTC, etc., blah, blah, blah. So there's been rumors for the longest time ever that Zaslav's only going to be there for 3 to 4 years to build up Warner Bros., build up DC so it's worth more money so they could sell it. Warner Bros. Discovery is currently in just under $50 billion worth of debt. Now, for the longest time ever, Disney, Netflix, Apple, Comcast. Now, Comcast is the most likely case here to buy it. So Universal Pictures is an American film studio owned by Comcast through its own subsidiaries, NBC Universal, and is one of Hollywood's biggest 6 film studios. So does Universal own Comcast? Now, this is a hard one to answer. Universal Studios, both the theme parks and movie studios, is currently owned by NBC Universal, a subsidiary of Comcast. So what am I trying to say? It's looking like Comcast could be buying the whole of Warner Bros. Discovery soon. So let's go over, and now I've set the tone, now I've set the mood. Get your popcorn out, lads and ladettes. Right, let's go over what Grace actually had to say. I hear reports of building out the Reeves verse are true with additional filmmakers. I think that's crazy to have a competing, fully fledged cinematic universe. So what is Grace saying here? She is saying the Reeves universe, the Batman 2, is going to be a fully functional cinematic universe, which does not just mean the Batman characters. It means Reeves verse could have their own version of Superman, their own version of Wonder Woman, etc. That is absolutely insane. Why would they do that? I mean, this is going to be cool for fans, but it's going to confuse the general audience. The general audience already thinks that Iron Man and Superman coexist in the same universe. It's going to be absolutely insane. So you're telling me we're having a fully fledged universe, and there's going to be 2 cinematic universes inside Warner Bros. Discovery. That is absolutely insane. Now, David Zaslav would not do this unless he didn't have full confidence in James Gunn. Now, everyone can keep saying he's got full confidence in him, but they are literally building a second cinematic universe inside Warner Bros. Discovery. Remember, the Batman is supposed to be an Elseworld story. The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, they are supposed to be Elseworld stories. It is no longer an Elseworld story if you are building a competing cinematic universe. David Zaslav is thinking long term. He knows the Batman, one, made a lot of money on a low budget. Also, they had a lot of issues during what happened in the world. And it still turned over $700+ million. And it made a really good profit. One of Warner Bros., one of DC's most profitable movies in a very, very long time. So I'm not saying Zaslav is setting this company up to be sold and then at least have the Reeves verse, which seems like it could be financially successful, and have the Elseworld Joaquin Phoenix part be successful. I honestly don't think the studio owners, being, the CEO, David Zaslav, I don't think he has full confidence in James Gunn like James Gunn seems to think he does. Sure, obviously he's got confidence in him, or else he wouldn't have allowed him to take the job with Pete Safran to be co-head of DC Studio. But this is very weird. Now, obviously, Grace Randolph could be wrong, but let's just remember, she was the only person that said Henry Cavill will no longer be Superman after The Flash and after Black Adam. And guess what? Careful for spoilers, she was correct. Now, I'm pretty sure Warner Bros. Discovery will be sold, but to me, this screams he's got no confidence in James Gunn. Yeah, well, Stu, you're just a James Gunn hater. Now, let's address this James Gunn hater scenario. Right. Go over to Instagram at WarStew and look, I made a post about the Suicide Squad movie. I got to go to the UK premiere for the Suicide Squad movie. Yeah, WarStew, you were paid to attend it. No, I was not paid to attend it. So I really liked the Suicide Squad movie. I really liked Peacemaker. I really liked Guardians 1 and 3. I don't understand why people think I have this issue with James Gunn. I don't have any issue. But what I find fascinating and what I find really dishonest is the same people that say, I'm a hater of James Gunn and I'm a hater of the person they picked as new Superman. I can't really make a judgment. The only judgment I can make of David is he literally looks like a younger Superman, and it seems pointless to me at the moment. But when the movie comes out and when I've watched it, because I'm actually a DC fan, if the Superman is as good as what everyone's saying it is, then I'll be down with it. Cool. But the same people who hated Suicide Squad, trolled on it, made YouTube videos in it, troll Peacemaker about all jokes, bleep that, are the same people saying that David and Rachel are going to be the greatest Superman and Lois ever, are going to have the greatest Clark and Lois relationship ever, it's going to be the greatest Superman ever, it's going to be the most iconic relationship in movie history, are the same people saying that James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie and Peacemaker were no good, but all of a sudden now you're happy with who they've casted. You're going to go watch the Suicide Squad and watch Peacemaker and change your mind? Jeez, damn, at least be honest, at least be transparent. Don't just flip-flop because you need to make content. Because to be honest, that's just what it looks like to me. If you're going to say the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker were the worst things ever, but all of a sudden now you're so hyped for the person that made both them movies to make a Superman movie, literally makes no sense. And then people come out with this, oh yeah, but he made everyone fall in love with a raccoon. Cool story, bro. Doesn't mean that's going to cross over to Superman and Lois. Does it? No, not even close. And also there's an option 3. The backup plan is to bring the Snyderverse back. Okay, yeah, I've just had to put it in there. Why? Because David Zaslav is a businessman. If he can make a bunch of money from selling the Snyderverse, even though you couldn't actually sell the Snyderverse because the IP would be the individual characters. And I guess what this sell the Snyderverse ridiculous hashtag actually means is license out the version of them characters. But the Snyderverse can't come back, but it could be a backup plan in a hypothetical Elseworld multiversal universe at the other side of time and reality. Hypothetically speaking, that could happen because it looks like David Zaslav has a backup plan because ultimately he wants to cut his losses and sell the whole studio off to Comcast. Realistically, David Zaslav is trying to rebuild his relationship with key talent, with key directors that they annoyed when they put everything on HBO Max. Christopher Nolan's movie coming out soon is a Universal movie. Yet, for some reason, Zaslav is like, yep, you can screen your new movie on the Warner Brothers lot. Even though it's got absolutely nothing to do with us, we want you over here, Christopher Nolan. Why? He's trying to finesse talent. He's trying to finesse directors. Because if you get Christopher Nolan back, a lot of talent want to work with you again. Why do you think so many people turned down the role to be co-head of DC Studios, or in fact be the singular head of DC Studios? So many people turned that job down before James Gunn picked it up. It's not like James Gunn was their first choice, and you can look on the internet, you can look up the articles on Variety. It's actually documented, James Gunn, that nobody wanted the role. That is heavily documented. So I'm not saying that for some reason they're building out the Batverse, the Reeves-verse, as a new cinematic, fully competing studio to go head-to-head with DCU. Literally makes no sense. It feels to me like they're doing this for safety, just in case the DCU, which I see it more like a single movie universe. You get a Superman movie, cool, it does well, we move on to Batman Brave and Bold, we'll have a bunch of characters that cross over. That is how it's going to be done. Single movie. But yeah, but what about the animated movies? Yeah, they're not really going to do that well. You guys need to learn when I'm trolling and when I'm being serious. I'm just thinking long term. To me, I don't know if James Gunn is that guy. He can make single movies. Yeah, but Guardians of the Galaxy crossed over, but they had Thanos. Kind of crossed over. It was more of a singular story. You don't even need to watch Guardians 3. You could literally watch Guardians 3 without watching Infinity War and Endgame, and you could still understand the story. James Gunn is good at directing. Sure, he's good at writing. Sure. But is he good at being a studio head? We will find out in 2026. We'll find out when Superman Legacy does amazing and breaks all the box office numbers and gets all these former Snyder Boy fanboys crying, because it just seems like a lot of the Snyder fans all of a sudden think James Gunn's the greatest thing ever. But if you go back in history and look when they were all trolling on Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, yet a lot of them are now loving James Gunn. It makes no sense because he's not actually done anything. Sure, he's casted Superman and Lois, but that's it. Cool. He's got someone that looks like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill ironically looks like Superman. So he's not really, he's got a Lois that I honestly still think that Emma Mackey should have got the role, because let's be honest, that would have worked much better. But I guess Superman and Lois is all about the chemistry. So it's an interesting one. I don't have any clue why they're building out a second cinematic universe for the same studio with the same IP. So the general audience will get confused. So you're going to have a new Batman in the DCU, if they get that far, as well as Robert Pattinson Batman. And the fact they're building a cinematic universe could imply you get a new Superman in the Reeves-verse. Bring back Henry Cavill, maybe. That could happen. Or does it mean they're going to bring more of the Batman Rogue gallery in? We don't know. We could have a Flash over there and people may get... You're just going to confuse the general audience because, let's be honest, the general audience makes movies. Nobody really reads comic books nowadays. I know people who go down below, yeah, these movies, they're carried by comic book fans. I hate to say it, but nobody reads comic books anymore. Look at the numbers. They've been dwindling for years. Sure, I get it. A small percentage of the audience will be comic book readers, but most of the audience don't even know that Marvel and DC aren't the same property. And I know, I get it. I'll get a lot of people going, okay, but why does Marvel beat DC? Does it though? Does it? I mean, you look at the Joker movie, 1 billion. You look at Aquaman, 1 billion. You look at the Nolan movies, they all banged, sure. You look at the Batman movie, beat Ant-Man 3, pretty much was on line with Thor Love and Thunder. I don't know if they do beat each other, but well, obviously I'm not talking pre-Infinity War, because then they slayed. Up until Infinity War Endgame, they slayed. Obviously Far From Home did well. Yeah, I get it. Some, the Anomaly, do well. It's going to be an interesting future for Marvel and DC fans. So stay tuned on this channel. I'll keep you up to date with all the latest and greatest Marvel DC news. So like always, guys, let us know down below. Do you think this is a scapegoat to get out of it? Is it a scapegoat in case the DCU flops? Or are they going to bring back option 3? Restore the Snyderverse. That's never going to happen. But I need this link for the title just in case I do so. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WarStew. Check us out on Twitter, WarStewG. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.